Four quarters of news in one sentence. A veteran QB is available under the right call sheet, and his next locker room will shape our January seed. Welcome back to Lions News Fan Report. Lock in with me because tonight, I'm delivering a clean roadmap you can use while the league scrambles. First, I'll show how one move outside Detroit can squeeze the NFC and why it matters for our path. Then I'll break down the money triggers that decide whether this is noise or a real decision window. After that, we hit the tape. What this quarterback still does well, what has aged, and where he fits. I close by mapping Detroit's best counters at the deadline and the exact scenarios that change our urgency. No hype, no stunts, just a late October edge you can feel on Sunday in the fourth quarter. Before we get to the name, I need 15 seconds on us. Our identity is clarity, a quarterback room that's aligned with the front office, a system that marries protection rules to timing routes, and a run game that forces honesty. That stability wasn't gifted. It was built. And because we built it, we don't chase headlines in November, we buy leverage. That's why a quarterback rumor becomes our business, even when the jersey isn't Honolulu blue. It's never can we get him. It's always, how does his availability bend our bracket? And where do we take value while others overpay? The calendar sets the tone. The cutoff is Tuesday, November 4th at 4 p.m. ET. That time box compresses pricing and pushes nervous teams to spend draft capital to cover holes. Quarterback, more than any other position, lives at the intersection of desperation and timing. Injuries pull phones out of pockets. Front offices stare at their locker rooms and ask for a pilot, not a savior. And coaches will only act if the new guy can step into a defined menu by Wednesday and run it clean by Sunday. That's the ecosystem for what we're tracking tonight. Follow the money, because that's where truth hides. This veteran's contract is heavy in the early years and carries a meaningful 2026 trigger that travels with the player. That means any team thinking rental is really thinking bridge with obligations. You're not borrowing a clipboard. You're inheriting cash in a plan. In real terms, that narrows the market to two profiles. A contender that lost its starter and refuses to waste a defense, or a playoff chaser that wants stable play-action structure while a younger arm learns. If you don't land in one of those lanes, the price won't match the role. Now the tape. The profile is consistent. Under-center elements, play-action rhythm, defined reads that let him hit crossers, digs, and sail concepts on time. When the pocket holds, the ball arrives where it should. When the down and distance tips pure drop back and the rush gets home, the limitations show. He's not a second reaction creator. He's a structure executor. That's okay, teams win in January with structure if the run threat is credible, and the OC calls it like a grown-up. What matters is that you pair him with protection rules that travel and receivers who win early in the route. Zoom out to Detroit's lens. If this quarterback lands in our conference, red zone defense, 2-minute management, and third and medium disguise become more valuable in the margins because the ball will come out on time and punish late rotations. If he lands in our division, every meeting changes at the line of scrimmage. More early down play action from them, fewer cheap short fields for us, and a January seed line that suddenly tilts on one drive per game. If he goes out of conference, the impact is lighter, but still real. Tiebreakers are fragile, and the NFC wildcard ladder gets reshuffled when a veteran settles chaos somewhere else. Here's the turn you've been waiting for. The quarterback is Kirk Cousins in Atlanta. A name with national gravity, a play-action resume the league respects, and a contract wrinkle sitting in 2026 that forces any buyer to think beyond 6 or 8 games. He's 37, which translates to floor, not ceiling, more pilot than ace, more rhythm than improvisation. He can give a good roster growing up offense on Sunday. He can keep a defense from wasting its prime. And he can calm a building that's been living snap to snap. This is not a Detroit target, and that's the point. It's an NFC variable that changes how we spend the next 48 hours. So what should Detroit actually do? I keep it simple. First, discipline. Our quarterback plan is set, and that's one of the best advantages you can have in November. Second, exploit the ripple. If an NFC rival chases Cousins, the market tightens somewhere else, usually on mid-tier corners, rotational interior rush, and backs who can close games without drama. That's our shopping cart. Third, set a walkaway number on each aisle. November wins when you refuse to pay the panic tax. We don't need a headline. We need one more January proof unit where injuries don't change our identity. I promise scenarios, so here we go. Scenario 1. Cousins stays in Atlanta. Result for Detroit. Nothing changes. And we hunt value late, especially a corner with inside-outside flexibility who holds up against in-breakers off play action. Or a 25 to 30 snap interior lineman who collapses the pocket on second down. Scenario 2. He moves to an NFC wildcard hopeful. Result: minimal direct impact on the division, but the price of veteran stopgaps ticks up. We respond by sticking to our valuations and striking only if the fit is clean. Scenario 3. He lands back in the North. That's the heavyweight branch. Our counter is game plan clarity show, pressure on first down to poison play action looks, spin late to rob crossers, and force pure drop back on second and long, so the veteran holds the ball half a beat longer than he wants. Hey Lions fans, let me pull you into the huddle before we land this, because your read shapes what we do next. I want your priorities if this rumor turns real inside the NFC. Tell me whether you'd invest first in secondary depth, interior rush, or a back who shortens four quarters, and be specific about the archetype. If you say secondary, are you picturing a slot who can carry speed across the field in quarters? A longer outside corner who squeezes the sideline and wins the catch point? Or a hybrid safety with downhill thump who can rotate late and erase the dig that play action keeps spitting out? If you say interior rush, are we talking a 3-tech penetrator who beats guards on 2nd and 8, a sturdy 2-gap nose who lets the linebackers run clean, or that 2-eye technician who collapses the pocket just enough to make a veteran hitch? And if your vote is for the closer at running back, do you want a contact balance hammer who chews clock behind duo, a pass pro grown-up who stones blitzers and keeps the call sheet open on 3rd and medium, or a one-cut runner who marries our outside zone and forces safeties to tackle in space? Drop your build, the traits you value, and the reason. Don't just give me names. I'll comb through the thread, surface the smartest angles, and turn that into the next breakdown with real fits, real snap counts, and a clean view of price versus role. This is how we keep the conversation inside the building, even when the rumor lives somewhere else. You set the board with me. We prioritize together, and by the time phones heat up, this community is already 2 moves ahead. And one more thing before we pivot. If you've got an eye for special teams crossover, call that out too. Because the right depth piece who covers kicks in January can be the hidden yardage that flips a field and steals a possession. Now the close, quick, clean, and honest. The Lions didn't build this season to chase a November quarterback. We built it to outlast noise and win structure. Kirk Cousins is a storyline because he can stabilize an offense right now and because his contract forces decisions that bleed into 2026, but that doesn't change who we are or how we move. If he stays put in Atlanta, we ride our plan, keep stacking clean games, and hunt disciplined value at positions that raise our floor when injuries bite. If he jumps to the NFC, we update the scouting card and tighten the game plan details without touching our identity. Earlier disguise on first down to poison play action pictures. More simulated pressure on 2nd and medium to steal a throw. And a coverage menu that lets us toggle between 2 high shells and sturdy run fits without substituting. If he walks back into the North, we change the chessboard on our term show pressure with intent, force pure drop back where his age shows, flood the intermediate windows he wants on rhythm, and make him live outside his comfort for 60 minutes. That's grown-up team building. That's how you turn late October anxiety into January control. If you want fast updates with real tape notes and cap nuance, no fluff, No guessing, stay with me here on Lions News Fan Report. Subscribe, turn on alerts, share this with the friend who texts you during 2-minute drills, and keep this tab hot. The second something flips, you and I will break it down like we're standing on the sideline together.